Hey everybody, how you doing? Ronald Smith, DJ Ronnie Ron here with you for 21st Century Authors here as we are under the umbrella of Music Industry Networks, Music Industry Makeover. I want to thank you all so much for joining us today as we have a special guest, an aspiring author that's has written two books, and we're going to bring her up real shortly. But we want to thank our sponsors who helped us with this: Quality Cores Recycling, Lackey Sauce Barbecue, Legacy Business to Solutions. I want to thank those for helping to sponsor this program, as well as many other programs that we have. And if you are an aspiring artist out there, or an aspiring author, sorry, because yes, we don't deal with just one particular subject. We have authors, artists, fashion. Hey, we would love to have and interview you on the show. Okay. So without further ado, we're going to get right into it. We're going to bring up this young lady here who, she's pretty much just like family to my family. And I met her through my wife. Okay, hey, I'm back. All right, yeah, I don't know what happened with that, but hey, let's bring her up right now. Author Patricia L. Williams is here. How are you, Mama Pat?
Hi. Yes, I'm him and Sandra's Mama Pat.
Yes,
They've been knowing me for years.
yes, awesome. Yes, we thank God for your beautiful family and coming from Toledo, Ohio, correct?
Yes.
Man, okay. Wow. Now, and so she is an author of two published books. Okay. And we want to talk about that. The book is Triumphant Victory. Okay. Right. Yeah. Triumphant Victory. And matter of fact, tell us about the book. What inspired you to write this book?
Well, what inspired me to write this book was God Himself.
Mm-hmm.
I am a survivor of domestic violence in a
Mm.
40-year marriage.
Okay.
So that's
Wow.
what inspired me to write the book. And at first, I was kind of hesitant about writing it. And then some things I didn't want to put in it. And then
Mm-hmm.
God dealt with me and told me, well, Pat, if you don't be transparent, you're
Mm-hmm.
not going to be able to minister to anybody and help anyone.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Interesting. Again, yeah, there's the book right there. Triumphant Victory, a story of God's unconditional love, mercy, and intervention. Wow. So you said it deals with domestic violence. Who would you like to target this book to? Yes. Who's your target audience for this kind of a book?
Well, my target audience would be for all women who are experiencing domestic violence. In researching, I found out that domestic violence is a global problem. And I was
Mm,
surprised. I just thought it was here in the United States. But
really?
it's in India, it's in Africa, it's in
Wow.
Peru, it's in Iran, it's in quite a few places. In some places, it's really the women are done terrible, believe it or not. Like in Iran, they said in India, they actually stoned the women to death.
Wow.
But the,
Interesting.
but the husbands come up with an excuse to do that. For instance, in one case, this is on the internet. You can go and look it up for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
This one husband, he wanted to get rid of his wife and marry a 14-year-old girl. So he came
Wow.
up with the accusation that his wife had committed adultery on him because she used to fix food for an elderly man. But there
Mm-hmm.
was no adultery. That was his way of getting rid of her. And I couldn't believe that here in this day and time that people actually stone people to death. But it's a true
Wow.
story. They
Wow.
stoned this young one. She was a young woman herself. They
Mm-hmm.
stoned her to death.
Wow, that is so tragic. I'm so sorry to hear that. So, uh, and again, you said you in your 40-year marriage, so you've dealt with domestic violence. What's the most important idea that you're sharing your book, sharing in your book that will add value to a reader's life?
Well, Okay, in my case, I come from a Pentecostal background, and on top of that,
Mm-hmm.
none of my family members practice domestic violence. To be honest with you, Ron, I didn't even know that what happened to me the 40 years was domestic violence until last year when I
Mm-hmm.
came across an article. Domestic violence involves more than just the physical part. I received all of it. I received the physical part, psychological, control, all of
Mm-hmm.
that. But like I said, at first, I didn't know what it was. I knew it wasn't right,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't know what to call it. Because like I said, I didn't have it, I didn't have anything to compare it with because my side of the family didn't do those kind of things. They were lovers, quote unquote.
Wow. Interesting. Interesting.
And
Man.
emphasis
Mhm.
on lovers, get it?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So, you know what? Let me ask you. So, why write this book now? What compelled you to write it now?
Well, like I said, God encouraged me to write it because he said that many people would be helped by
Mm-hmm.
what I wrote in the book. And it's really domestic violence isn't anything that you should cover up because really it could cost your life.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could be damaged so badly emotionally that you won't be able to go on with your own life or raise your children.
Gotcha. Awesome. Wow. Man, again, we are talking with author Patricia Williams. And again, her book Triumphant Victory, as it deals with domestic violence and a lot of other things in there. Tell us what's the best part in your book that you like personally?
Well, the best part, which is shocking to a lot of people that knew me and my late husband. He was the elder in church, so
Hmm.
that covered up a lot because when
Wow.
they saw us, they just looked at us as the ideal family.
Wow.
But behind closed doors, it was a different story. So
Hmm.
the best part in my book that stands out and is shocking even now to me every time I think about it, his brother my husband asked his brother to buy a rifle and bullets because I had to call the police one time because of an incident at the house. So my daughter Michelle got rid of the 3 guns that my husband had hid in his closet. So he
Wow.
was angry about that. So he asked his brother, who also was an elder, to go buy him a rifle and bullets, and his brother did. And
Wow.
and the police had just been at our house for domestic violence.
Wow.
So you wonder why in the world would his brother buy my husband a gun and bullets? And my husband didn't go hunting, so you tell me what did he need it for?
Whoa, man, that's really heavy right there, and that's all in this book, man.
Yeah.
Oh wow, wow, man.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
need some popcorn and some pop for reading this book.
Okay. Now you said pop, which means I guess for those in the South means soda, right?
Soda, yeah, soda.
Okay.
Popcorn and soda.
The popcorn is wow. Triumphant Victory, a story of God's unconditional love, mercy, and intervention by author Patricia L. Williams. Man, this seems like a must read right here. Hey, how you doing, Goldie? Thanks so much for joining us. Man, wow. I encourage you all to definitely go to the website and get this book. Man, because yeah, domestic violence is a very serious issue. And then as you heard her say earlier, how this is not just an American problem, but it's all over the world. And you
Yeah.
know, man, wow. Well, so definitely pretty much any and everybody who's in a relationship needs to buy this book, pretty much, right?
Yes.
Okay, man.
And can I add something if you
Sure.
don't mind?
Go ahead.
I have a social work background and
Mm-hmm.
also legal secretary background.
Mm-hmm.
So God gave me a suggestion to send to. I did send a letter to the Church of God in Christ
Mm-hmm.
Bishop Charles E. Blake Sr., the
Mm-hmm.
presiding bishop, because I was very concerned about this.
Mm-hmm.
Because God showed me when you have a double standard like this, it's going to affect your children to
Mm-hmm.
see their father in the pulpit preaching and then at home doing something else. So
Mm-hmm.
my suggestions that I made in my letter to Bishop Blake was that the husband and wife should have counseling together, then individually, and the children should have a counseling, and the husband should be responsible for all of the expenses of his family. He just can't throw them away.
Okay.
And if the husband doesn't want to cooperate like that, you see, I stayed in my marriage for 40 years because I love my husband and I was trying to honor my marriage. But if the person doesn't want to change, I feel like the woman would just have to divorce him because her life and the children's life count for something.
Yes, because if something should happen or tragic happen to you, then it's like, wow, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and all the early signs are there. I know some people have a big spiel about the divorce and no matter what, and I'm like, well, because people try to use scripture and use the Bible to validate their point, but again, like you say, if a person doesn't want to change, okay, what can you really do? All right.
You can't. It takes two to tango.
Right.
So if the person doesn't want to change, you to save your own life and your children's life, then you're going to have to divorce them. And I wasn't for a divorce because why did I stay in my marriage for 40 years?
Wow. Right. Exactly. Yes. Goldilocks says, yeah, not if you're getting beat. Exactly.
No.
Wow. Well, you all need to go and get this book here, Triumphant Victory. All right. And there's the website there. And again, someone that was married for 40 years, was in the church. And there's a lot of cases like this, unfortunately.
Yes.
So, and it's, I'm gonna say it's crazy, but it's like we knew about things, but we never vocalized it. Because it's like, oh no, you don't want to speak ill on the man or woman of God or whatever. And it's like, okay, but they are suffering.
Right. Can I interject something else?
Sure. Yes, ma'am.
I even said in my first book that I wrote, and even in this book, the church needs to do better. They need to get training on how to counsel people that are going through domestic violence.
That's good.
I hate to say this, but my church was no help to me when I went through this. You won't believe it, but I was labeled as demon possessed and crazy, and I wasn't.
Wow, man. and that is very sad. That is very sad to say that about your church. So because churches should be very supportive.
Yeah.
And wow, man. See, this is the kind of information that should be at even relationship conferences and marriage conferences.
Yes.
Let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and let's face the elephant in the room, and how do we get past it?
That's right.
Wow. Well, look, we are definitely grateful that you wrote your second book on this, and people, you all need to go and read this book. I had the chance to read it. Again, I knew the husband very well. Never knew that side of him, but again, I don't use that to tear him down. I remember him as a great man, and as the Bible says, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, against spiritual wickedness and principalities and spiritual wickedness in high places. I'm kind of paraphrasing, but the fact is there, we are human beings, and if we let the spirits control us, then we're going to act out in ways that are not conducive to Christ. So,
may I say something else that's really important?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, I researched my husband's family because I was trying to understand why he did that. And I hate to say it, but it's like he has a generational curse of that in his family. His father practiced domestic violence. His uncle practiced domestic violence. All four of his brothers practiced domestic violence.
Wow.
And they still all, the ones that were preachers, they all were allowed to preach too. And even my husband tried to encourage our adult son to practice domestic violence in his marriage, but my son refused. So God broke that chain there.
Awesome.
Right.
Awesome.
And I give God all of the glory and the praise for that.
And you said that you didn't realize it was domestic violence until what? Recently?
Until last year,
Till
when
last year.
I was writing the book. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but I
Wow.
didn't, because like I said, I was very naive to it. I knew what my husband was doing was wrong, but I didn't know what to call it. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And then I read an article while I was writing my book, and that's when I found out that was and I had domestic violence. I'm not kidding. From the first year of our marriage all the way through the 40 years. Honestly, I'm not kidding.
Wow. 40 years, man.
40 years.
Hey, this could definitely be a movie right here. I tell you. Again, guys, go get the book. All right, author Patricia Williams, and Triumphant Victory: A Story of God's Unconditional Love and Mercy and Intervention. All right, it's a very good read, and we need more stories like this so that we can be transparent and also help somebody else to avoid situations like this.
Yes.
Is there any last words that you want to say to the people out there?
Yes, to the women. To me, women are special. And the Bible says that a man that finds a wife finds a good thing. So don't forget, women, that you are very special, and you don't have to stay in an abusive marriage. You can get out. And I do want you to know that, I'm kind of telling on the book a little bit, but I had to kind of let you know this. But the last year of my husband's life, he got himself together. And I had made up my mind, no kidding, I had made up my mind, if Elder Joe Everett Williams Senior didn't get himself together, I was going to divorce him. Because I had reached a point where I couldn't go through all of that stuff anymore. I had to think about my health and my well-being.
Wow.
So that's what I tell any woman. Don't wait till your brains are completely knocked out your head. Go get help for you. And if the person doesn't want to change, unfortunately, you just have to divorce them.
Man, wow. Well, we definitely need to have you on some other shows out there. I know of some people that have some relationship podcasts, and if you're watching, you need to definitely get in contact with Miss Patricia Williams here and have her on your show, because this is some valuable information that could definitely help women out there, and not just women, but men as well too. I've heard that they go through domestic violence as well. It's not, not all physical, but even emotional and things like that as well. So, man, well, look, we want to thank you so much for coming on here. I look forward to hearing the great reports of people ordering your book. Go to the website, triumphantvictorysite.com. You see it right there. Go order her book, and you will be blessed. I had the chance to read it myself, and yes, it's very intriguing, and I could see this being a movie. So she didn't give you all the details in there. There's some more stuff that you definitely need to go and read for yourself. But I'm telling you, this book is very powerful, and it's going to help somebody.
Yes.
All right.
To God be the glory.
Yes, ma'am. To God be the glory. Well, hey, look, fortunately, all things must come to an end, but God's love never ends. Remember, you matter in the kingdom of God. So don't compare yourself or your ministry to anyone else out there. Just do what God has called you to do, and you'll be just fine. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching 21st Century Authors. And if you're an author out there and you would like to come on the show, feel free to get in contact with me. All right. Go to our website, musicindustrymakeover.com, and go and contact me there. And my information is there so that we can have you on the show and promote what it is that God has given you to help the world out there. Okay. And so again, you all be safe. Thank you again. And we will see you on another episode of 21st Century Authors.